This is the city of Hamilton. The entire region of Hamilton-Wentworth has a total population of about 450,000 people. A safe region by Canadian standards, but realistically, we do have our share of crime. We have a homicide or attempted homicide almost every 2 weeks. A robbery, often committed while armed, every 1.4 days. Nine to 10 homes and 5 to 6 businesses burglarized every day. It's obvious then, there is an active element in our society that would rather rob, rape, steal, and kill than lead normal, productive lives. Unfortunately, that particular element in our society is not shrinking. And in modern times, the police need your help. A unique program gives you that opportunity. The program is called Crime Stoppers.
On July 9th, 1981, the body of 36-year-old P.S.A. was found deceased on a bed in her Charlton Avenue apartment. The victim had been separated from her husband, lived alone, and was employed as a supervisor at the Sunoco gas bar at Barton and Centennial Parkway. Detectives know that on the day previous, after leaving work at 4 p.m., P.S.A. made a few stops on her way home, the last of which was for a few groceries. From there on, it's only speculation. It is assumed that she proceeded directly to her apartment and placed the groceries in the refrigerator. Then she either encountered a stranger in the apartment or allowed someone in whom she knew or appeared to be a person in authority. There was evidence of a violent struggle. The victim was rendered unconscious and then bound with materials found in the apartment. A Food City plastic shopping bag was placed over her head, resulting in death by suffocation. The rooms were ransacked and a quantity of jewelry was stolen, amongst which were gold bracelets, rings, and a silver bracelet inset with turquoise stones. If you have any information regarding the murder of P.S.A. or of any other major crime, call Crime Stoppers at 522-TIPS. That's 522-8477 to be eligible not only for the standard $1,000 Crime Stopper reward, but another substantial sum as well. In all cases, you will not have to reveal your identity.
Crime Stoppers is truly a joint community effort, combining the street knowledge of our police, the talent of our media, and the resourcefulness of our citizens, all under one umbrella with one common goal, and that is to help solve crime. Crime Stoppers is not a new concept in police work. It simply promotes more dramatically an investigative tool used by investigators for centuries, cash and anonymity in exchange for information. The program is not for the squeamish. In fact, it's the first time that the detectives, the Criminal Investigation Division, has ever embarked on a public program. Dateline, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 1976. A young Canadian-born Albuquerque police detective had reached a dead end in a brutal homicide investigation. The case had involved 2 men who had robbed the attendant of an all-night gas bar and then shot and killed him at point-blank range. Frustrated by the lack of clues and with the fact that the detective knew there had been witnesses, but that these people were afraid to come forward, the detective approached a local TV station with a novel idea. The detective, Greg McAleese, proposed that if he enlisted the cooperation of a local drama club and had them reenact the crime at the exact location of the occurrence, would the TV station tape the reenactment and air it. McAleese also offered a $300 cash reward from his own pocket and guaranteed total anonymity to anyone that would come forward with information that would lead to the apprehension of the offenders. The TV station consented, aired the 90-second reenactment during a portion of a news broadcast, and within 24 hours, McAleese had the killers under lock and key. Not only did they confess to the homicide, but also to a string of 9 other robberies. So successful was this first effort, the program was refined, enlarged, and soon became a permanent branch of the Albuquerque City Police. It's interesting to note that in 1976, Albuquerque was ranked 5th in the USA in per capita crime rate. Nowadays, it's not even in the top 75. Over 500 police departments in the USA and Canada now have Crime Stopper programs in operation. Calgary was the first Canadian city to pick it up and became active in August of 1982. Edmonton and Lethbridge followed suit shortly thereafter. We in Hamilton were the 4th city in Canada and actually the first in Eastern Canada to adopt the program and launched operations in late May of 1983. Following weeks of advanced publicity, Crime Stoppers in Hamilton called a press conference at the Hamilton and District Chamber of Commerce to officially launch the program. Numerous VIPs attended, including the founder of Crime Stoppers, Greg McAleese, the Provincial Solicitor General, our Chief of Police, Media Administration, and representatives of the RCMP and Ontario Provincial Police. At the present time, 18 Canadian cities now have Crime Stopper programs in operation. In Ontario alone, besides Hamilton, we have Windsor, Toronto, Ottawa, Niagara Regional, Brantford, and even Elliott Lake. Crime Stoppers is an investigative tool only, relying on the cooperation of the police force, the news media, and the community. It's a high-profile program designed to encourage people to call the police with information to solve serious street crime, information pertaining to murders, sex offenses, robberies, burglary, possession of stolen property, frauds, and drug traffickers all fall into this category. The anonymity aspect of the program, we have found, is often, more than not, a greater incentive than that of the cash reward. When we receive a call into our office over the hotline, 522-TI-PS, we evaluate the information, and if we feel it's worthy of further investigation, we assign the caller a code number. We are not interested in knowing the true identity of the caller. Of course, that code number will be known only to the caller and the Crime Stopper staff. It's therefore incumbent on the caller to always recontact the Crime Stoppers office for updates on the information that either he or she has given. After that raw information has been taken over the hotline, it's disseminated by the staff, refined, and eventually handed over to the Criminal Investigation Division for follow-up work. In reality, some of the leads received will, although be factual, be almost impossible to work, while others will often be the straw to break the camel's back. Since Crime Stoppers is incorporated as a charitable organization, we have a civilian board of directors. In Hamilton, we have 15 men and women, and they include lawyers, advertising people, retailers, an accountant, and university professor. Our chairman is the executive director of the Hamilton and District Chamber of Commerce.
It is the board's job to administer and operate the program, and also in soliciting monies from the private sector in the form of donations for our reward fund. We do not use nor accept monetary assistance from the government. It's obvious then that your tax dollars are not involved. Because Crime Stoppers is incorporated as a charitable organization, all donations are tax deductible. Once a month, and more often if necessary, the civilian board meet with the police coordinator. In Hamilton, the board meetings are held at the Chamber of Commerce. Besides general business, promotion, and fundraising, the board hears of the month's arrests and seizures. The police coordinator recommends a reward figure for each code number. It is then the board's function to cast judgment and decide on the final reward. Crime Stoppers differs from other reward programs in that Crime Stoppers pays upon arrest, not on arrest and conviction, as other programs stipulate. Payout time is drastically reduced. After the board meetings at a prearranged time, the tipster will contact the Crime Stoppers office. He will be informed as to the amount of the reward and as to where and how to pick it up. Rewards are paid out by a board member, not the police. In Hamilton, they are paid through a member's workplace or at a prearranged location of which other board members have knowledge. Crime Stoppers is greatly dependent on the news media in the city. Without them, Crime Stoppers could simply not exist.
Each week, a 90-second reenactment of an unsolved crime is aired over CHCH-TV's Monday Night News at 6 p.m. The 3 radio stations in the city, CHML, CKOC, and CHAM, And a community college radio station also released the same crime in the form of an edited narrative to coincide with the TV production. The major daily newspaper published a major unsolved crime under the Crime Stopper logo on a monthly basis. And finally, Cable 4, a community television network, air our Crimes of the Week on Tuesday evenings. Not only do we hope to solve the crime of the week, but it serves as a hook to generate interest in the program and phone calls regarding other unsolved crime. In Hamilton, Crime Stoppers offers a flat reward of $1,000 for information leading to an arrest regarding the crime of the week, as long as the information is received within 7 days of its airing. For other crimes, our bylaws permit us to pay anywhere from $50 to $2,000, depending upon the value of the information and the severity of the crime. Since Crime Stoppers commenced in Hamilton on May 30th, 1983, no one can deny that it hasn't been an unqualified success.
It was at 4:25 a.m. on March 16, 1983, that a 21-year-old girl was walking home alone from a party. As she walked in a southerly direction down Strathcona Avenue from King Street, she became aware that she was being followed. She quickened her step, but almost immediately the footsteps were upon her. As she turned to confront her pursuer, it is alleged that a fist struck out, smashing the female in the head, knocking her to the sidewalk. The victim did not lose consciousness. She scrambled to her feet and ran towards her home, only a short distance away. Her attacker followed, where directly in front of her home, he grabbed her again. The frightened victim begged and tried to reason with him, but he muttered something about girls always trying to put him down and knocked her down again. The hysterical victim screamed for her father, and within seconds, the father was out of the house, attempting to pull the madman from his daughter. The attacker bit the father and began to break away, fleeing in a northeasterly direction.
Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. December the 4th, 1983. Two masked men, one carrying a loaded sawed-off shotgun, robbed the proprietor of the Shalina Variety Store at Cannon and Emerald Streets. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. May 26, 1984. The Wentworth Beaver Lumber at 1581 Main Street West was the scene of a burglary and safe job. Thousands of dollars in merchandise and monies were stolen. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. During the spring of 1984, there was an unprecedented rise in the number of burglaries in a section of downtown Hamilton. On over 20 separate occasions, variety, grocery, and drugstores were the target of thieves whose only interest was the theft of large quantities of cigarettes. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. March 3rd, 1984, another armed robbery. This time, the proprietor of the Greensville Variety and his family underwent an ordeal they thought would never end. The proprietor, his wife, and preschool daughter were forced to the floor at gunpoint while bandits pillaged the store. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. December the 11th, 1984. The night clerk of Max Milk at 150 Maplewood Avenue was robbed at gunpoint by two masked thugs. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. More recently, the sexual assault of a visiting Oriental University student. This attack occurred January the 14th, 1985 in a secluded parking lot off McMaster University in Hamilton. Case cleared by Crime Stoppers. In less than 2 years, Crime Stoppers has been directly responsible for 360 criminal code arrests, most of which have been for robberies, burglary and their related offenses, fraud, sexual offenses, and drug traffickers. Over 500 cases have been solved. Crime Stoppers have also recovered $225,000 in stolen property and seized $250,000 in illicit narcotics. As a matter of note, the drug dollar figure is based on wholesale values, not hyped up, purported street values. If we were to quote street prices, the figure would exceed $1 million. Nationwide, Crime Stoppers has been responsible for over 2,500 arrests, the solving of 3,500 cases, the recovery of $4 million in stolen property, and based on wholesale value, the seizure of over $2 million in illicit narcotics.
Crime Stoppers works because it encourages participation from all levels of society. The tipsters never testify, nor is their identity ever known. This formula, coupled with the incentive of a cash reward, appeases fear of retaliation from the criminal element and/or the frustration of becoming involved in lengthy trials. Not only does it appeal to the law-abiding citizen, but also